So for this area of our evaluation questions, we'll be highlighting the different ways in which we've implemented, negotiated and challenged conventions of the short film documentary genre as best to suit our film. With that being said, Nikita will now provide insight into the areas that were most heavily involved in during Trabaho's filming process.
The film which I will be looking at contains an introduction that revolves around pans and tilts, the location where the issue is emitted from. The filming is conducted in a dark environment, a heavy bass score and narrator create a feeling of tension within it.
This is London, an immigrant megacity where nearly 40% were born abroad.
Trabaho similarly combines an intensifying and upbeat soundtrack to bring across the point. However, this is done at the end of the film to bring about a conclusion, intensified to emphasize the message.
That they have right now, say like 250 to 300,000 nationals. If all the expats will go back home, they couldn't be able to sustain or run the country by themselves. Who do you think will serve them with the basic, needs that they have in life?
Unlike Vice's film, establishing shots in Trabaho present nearly every location featured throughout the film and a variation of lighting. Within Vice's film, extreme long shots combined with pans are used to reveal new locations. Trabaho uses this effect in a similar manner combined with an out-of-focus effect. Shallow focus is used to bring out the speaker, allowing for a more engaging experience for the audience. Although Trabaho uses this effect at points, it is mostly used for aesthetic purposes, as we felt that the environments featured in our film, in our interviews, shots are just as important as the people themselves. Close-ups of connoting signs and objects are made to reinforce points or location symbolism in Vice's film. Trabaho uses this effect similarly. However, unlike Vice's film, which uses them to hint onto new locations and points, Trabaho uses them throughout the film through already revealed locations or talking points as cutaways. This is done to visually present a message, such as the Qatari flag, which Odell talks about the nationals, or for pure aesthetics. Soundtracks in Vice's film are used throughout to bring about mood and theme changes / transitions as tools. Trabaho does this in a similar manner, such as the tense rise of score at the end and the melancholic piano tune when Jodel talks about being homesick.
Finding yourself in a situation where you will feel very, very homesick, and at the same time you can still provide, a good life for your family.
While Vice's soundtrack uses a very similar, tense, upbeat scores as a reminder of fear, within the interviews, Trabaho's soundtracks constantly vary with a more positive feel. The end brings all of this down with a contrasting soundtrack as a conclusion.
While making Trabaho, we wanted to make the narrative as much about our interviewees as what they said as possible. We had a set of ideals which we wanted to stick to, however the narrative was to be solely followed on the subject matter that they brought up. While at the church, we met with the head priest, whose views on the Filipino community were very enlightening. Indeed. We took inspiration from Vice documentaries and their investigative journalism style to make a voiceover for Trabaho. However, we challenged the convention by including it over cutaways instead of the interview. The Filipino accents that our interviewees had was expected, however created verisimilitude for our audience. This linked perfectly with Bart's Enigma code theory.
When it comes to our postcard, I decided with vision in mind that it would be a more conventional product than anything. This was inspired by our influence Vice and their approach to denoting their products, so I'll start by highlighting the ways in which I abided, negotiated and challenged conventions in our postcard. I'll then do the same thing in regards to our website. I practiced this on 6 speed. When it comes to our postcard, I decided with vision in mind that it would be a more conventional product than anything. This was inspired by Influence Vice and their approach to denoting their products. So I was starting by highlighting the ways in which I abide, negotiate and challenge conventions. When it comes to our postcard, I decided with vision in mind that it would be a more conventional product than anything. This was inspired by our Influence Vice and their approach to denoting their products. So I'll start by highlighting the ways in which I abided, negotiated and challenged conventions in our postcard. Then I'll do the same thing in regards to our website. With our postcard here, there's a number of things we can look at. Layout, colour scheme, font and the use of images. All these were taken into account when creating it, so all of it can be explained. For our layout, I looked to the real-world inspirations like Papa Machete for the simplistic approach to a subject. I felt this particular product had simplicity to its offset isolated character alongside large bold font. I like striking At what point?
So we start saying big words.
With our postcard here, there's a number of things we can look at. Layout, colour scheme, font and the use of images. All these were taken into account when creating it, so all of it can be explained. For our layout, I looked to the real-world inspirations such as Papa Machete for a simplistic approach to a subject. I felt this particular product had simplicity to its offset isolated character alongside a large bold font, and a word like striking instantly came to mind. I wanted our postcard to represent this same interest in our audience, and you can see inspiring to that, I have progressed the layout of Papa Machete's postcard in such a way as to best benefit us. In regards to this, you can see inspiring to that, I have progressed the layout of Papa Machete's postcard in such a way as to best benefit ours. In regards to this, I wouldn't say anything atypically conventional was done. Though moving on to colour scheme, I chose a high-key natural scenario to base our fonts atop of, before using functions within the Google Nix collection to apply a stylizing filter and a layer of pinched lighting/contrast. The effect of this was a more timeless colour palette and a subtle vignette that draws attention to the world central to the postcard. Things like postcards are intended to strike a balance between art and advertisement, and conventionally I feel this was achieved. As for font, a website named 1001 Fonts provided a great font called breakfast_demo that was integral to our branding at Trabaho. The font was a tall, bold, somewhat unrefined look font that I felt really contrasted the glitzy working world of Kata, and I wanted this to provide a contrast to the scenario at hand. I couldn't comment on whether this is a negotiation of convention or a rejection or an exception. Our font choice ultimately came down to expressing our narrative through subtlety within branding and so forth, so perhaps in this regard we could argue that the use of the font was in fact conventional and not to the effect of something outlandish with rejection of connotation. Lastly, in my analysis of our postcard, I'll address our use of images. For this there was numerous attempts at a single large background image composition, as well as montage shots and bar different location setups like postcards for something like sausage. If you were to look at my subsequent drafts for our postcard, you could probably tell that I felt this aforementioned simple single shot was more effective for our movie. In maintaining verisimilitude with the product, I also wanted the postcard to appear like it was plucked from the scene it's representing, and I maintained negotiation with the conventions of the observational style documentary. A montage would have otherwise detracted from this real-world approach, and in my opinion would have somewhat undermined what we wanted to achieve with Trabaho. So, to recap so far, I've now analysed, hopefully in detail, my approach to conventions in regards to Trabaho's postcard. I'll now do this again with our website, in the same layout, colour scheme, font and images format as before.
What's the city you're looking at me?
A lot of this will take inspiration from our postcard and really serves as an extension of our product's branding. Thus, in being conventional, it doesn't stray far from the techniques implemented on our postcard. Our website's interactivity means that its layout serves to both present a product artistically and informatively while still being conventionally accessible and manoeuvrable. Artistically and informatively while still being conventionally accessible and manoeuvrable. To achieve this, I took the centered, simplistic layout of our postcard and lengthened it into a website map that looks something like 2 triads and then 2 single pages. For these triad pages, an artistic image opens up the page with allusions and subtle hints that the page can be scrolled down, which provides an audience with a reason to look further. Due to the conventional nature of websites these days, it's also typically expected that a web page can be scrolled through. The only pages that can't do this are the blog and the gallery pages, as I wanted to take a more typical and aesthetic approach to these. This was to make both our blogs and our gallery stand out amongst the technicalities of our film. Now moving on to colour scheme, this is probably one of the only things that directly contrasts our postcard, as for the website the lighting is considerably lower key. This discrepancy was to an artistic effect and is to serve as a means of hinting at the scope of our exploration to the Filipino culture in Doha. The idea being that as audience members navigate our separate products, they'll obtain insight into where our film will be taking place and what we'll be addressing. The colour palette that subsequently arose from this was one that had much more of a modern nightlife connotation. In saying that, I feel I've covered my key points and uses of imagery. And in regards to font, the same breakfast font was used just to maintain a sense of branding across our products. So in a final note and piece of analysis, what I would add in regards to these two is that, again, a conventional standard was maintained for the sake of accessibility, semantics and aesthetic. Both our postcard and our website have purposefully stayed close to...
I was watching how to do a hand gesture. Look at these, man.
Both our postcard and our website. Both our postcard and our website have purposely...
Yep.
I'm not doing that again. Both our postcard and our website have purposely stayed close to the tree, and while diverging from their biggest influences in many ways, are still rooted in conventional understandings of these products. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Give us an A.
A star.